Hello, my beautiful thinking people. You 1585ers, you amazing, thought-provoking, intelligent people, you. Okay, so we got the new update of 14 Lite. FSD version 14 Lite. It's based off of the new hardware 4 software that everybody is getting with their brand new vehicles. So let's see how great it's going to do. If I'm going to have to take over at all in my wonderful trip, I'm going to work. I'm not going to work, sorry. I'm going to my daytime passion. It's almost crazy to call it work. It's what I love to do. So we're going to see how good this is going to do on the way. And we've got some topics coming up. So I suggest everybody keeps in tune, ready to go, because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out here. And I'm going to break it up into pieces. So first thing, we're going to start self-driving. It used to be only by the stock. Now you can do it by here, by the stock when you're moving. So, and immediately it starts to take off. Speed bumps have not been its strongest suit. It's been usually like a hit and miss. And as you can see here, speed bumps no longer seem to be an issue. Oh, I have to take over here for a second. Map, Tesla, sending to Tesla. That easy, folks. It is seriously that easy. So, let's continue the trip. I won't call that an intervention. I'll call that human error. Unless you want to say, hey, Clyde, it's a Tesla. Isn't it supposed to read your mind? I'm going to say, no. No. First test. Cross traffic, approaching, signals on, and off she goes. Make sure I have no restrictions here. So far, the proficiency and the conduct is flawless so far. And as you noticed on that initial screen, it shows you how much I have been using full self-driving. Where did she go? So 85% I've been on full self-driving, and this is before this version of the software. Okay, I have a 2-day streak of FSD. Beautifully done. It knows its turn at the intersections. When there's an all-way stop, it knows who's supposed to go first, and so on. Beautiful turn, love it. Smooth, calculated, perfection. So this is a combination Tesla FSD and topic video. In my topic videos, I like to tackle some of the things that most people are afraid to go near. So since we're coming up to the highway, which you'll be able to see all the capabilities of FSD while we go along, I'm going to keep your ears perked for the information I'm going to be spewing. So let's start with this. The Middle Eastern conflict going on between the United States and Iran, coupled with you-know-who, against Hezbollah. Also featuring Gaza. Okay, so let me see what I can touch on. And I'm going to be as careful as I possibly can be, because we know what they like to do. Every time I start to broach topics that they don't want me to, they all of a sudden do some craziness like shadow ban me, stop people from seeing my videos, stop the subscription progression. They stop everything. So, folks, please understand, if I'm talking in what seems to be at times sort of riddles, you just need to figure it out on your own. It's not that difficult. I won't be leaving that much to the imagination, but sometimes you do have to fill in the blanks. Okay, so let's start with this. There's an opinion on both sides. There are people who are saying United States is just decimating Iran. It has taken out all their defensive and offensive capabilities. So as far as a war-type power, apparently Iran is no more. It is brought down to its knees. It is constantly begging the United States for talks and deals and ceasefires and all of that stuff. Then you have the voices on the other side who say, absolutely 100% Iran is winning the war. And Iran is winning the war because attrition. They are costing the United States military and others of their allies probably in the vicinity of about 100 times the cost. Iran apparently is winning this war through very cheap means, and it's costing the rest massive amounts. Like many of the missiles and structures that are being damaged by Iran are worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, while the weapons used to inflict this damage are costing maybe tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, I don't particularly love that move that we just did, but it's going to be sufficient to get where we need to go. Jesus, Murphy. You saw that, folks. FSD had that under control. Totally under control. But someone else did not. At least he recognized what he was doing that was wrong, and basically stuck out his hand out of his window to basically say, I'm sorry. I recognize my stupidity there. Much better execution of this on-ramp. Normally it gets into the merge lane and gets stuck there because the traffic backs up on it. So as you can see, this with the FSD coverage, I always like to mix it with the topics. So okay, we have the two sides and the different thought processes on how we are actually doing. And you can make up your own mind. But what they say in favor of Iran is not only the fact that they're using much less costly measures to counteract the efforts of the United States, but they're also saying United States, let's say, hits 10 targets that might be, let's say, worth 3 points each. Iran hits 30 targets worth 5 points each. basically using, I guess you could say, escalation dominance. They're able to hit all of their targets at will. All the United States bases are totally open to their selection of items that they like to hit, and they hit them. They hit them accurately. When you see the before and after pictures on satellite, it shows, oh, beautiful, pristine, boom, blown apart. So this is proof on the side of Iran that they're winning the war of attrition. Most of Iran's major tools for winning this war are kept and dispersed from underground, under tons of granite that are natural mountains that are just almost impossible to penetrate. Think of grabbing a knife and plunging it into sand. You know the knife is going to go pretty well in the trajectory that you are aiming. But now picture that same knife hitting on the slope of a mountain. Getting in is going to be extremely difficult, which means you're going to have deflections of the blade. It's going to be deflected in different directions and areas. To know what you're going to hit or how you're going to hit it is almost impossible. Even penetrating a granite surface is almost impossible. So these are the arguments on the side of those who say that Iran is winning the war. Secondly, Iran, they say, is winning the war because the whole world is pretty well behind Iran's defending themselves. But in the Western media, when you hear them talk about it, it's like Iran went and invaded the United States, and now they're paying the price because of their arrogance of going after the United States. Well, Iran has no intentions and no capability of actually going after the United States. But to go after the United States assets that are causing danger to the Iranian infrastructure, land, and people, well, then they have to plead guilty. There's no way they can say that that's not happening. They are definitely defending themselves. And what they promised from the beginning is this: if you hit us, we're going to hit you back harder. If you hit us, we're going to hit all your allies and your assets in those areas. If you continue to hit in these areas or in this infrastructure, we're going to hit your data centers and other infrastructure that you're using to support your country's vast wealth. There's so much that was said on the Iranian side. They also said, no, we're not going to have any discussions with the United States because they can't be trusted. No matter what agreement the United States makes, they just go back on it and say, oh no, we'll tear that up. Well, we're not abiding by that. No, not a chance. So you look at that objectively and you go, well, would you trust the other side when everything the other side says they just go back on at a moment's notice and then start bombing you again over and over again? So Iran says we're not discussing anything. If we're going to discuss, we're going to discuss through third parties. And if those third parties tell us that we should trust the other side, we'll still make our own evaluation because too much has been happening that isn't right. Sorry, soft intervention there for me. I accelerated and put on the signal stock because normally this lane will be moving faster than the other two, especially where we hit up here at a bottleneck. But Tesla's doing just fine. And it looks like this guy ahead of us did not want us to get ahead of him. So he made those lane changes, I would say, probably on purpose. He's not a very good driver either. I have some wonderful clips on my memory card that I should share with Wham Bam TeslaCam, because I'll tell you, there are some real real drivers out here. Oh, right, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that. There are some real intellectually challenged drivers out there who put many people's lives in danger. So let's get back to Iran, United States. You make up your own mind. Take a look at the information you're going to hear everywhere and evaluate it. We hear from the United States or the Western media that the Western media feels, like I said, first of all, that the entire military apparatus of Iran has been decimated. So it's non-existent. It can't do anything. Yet, by the same token, you'll hear the Western media say, well, we have to make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon. It's like, yeah, but wait a second. You said you destroyed their nuclear facilities. You destroyed their offensive and defensive weaponry. You destroyed everything. So what is it that you're protecting yourself against? And they say it over and over again. Oh, they can't get a nuclear weapon. We can't let them get a nuclear weapon. But you already said you destroyed that capability. So no matter what you can say or think, take a look at what they're saying and what they're doing. And that will help you make a better evaluation as to what's really going on. Here's another thing. They went in and said, no, we're not after regime change. We just don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. And they killed the leader of the country, the leader of their religious faith, and many of those subsequent supporting leaders as well. My own evaluation, that amounts to me to be an attempt at regime change. Well, they seemed to rebound very quickly, brought in new leaders, and were able to hit the ground running because of whatever systems they have put in place over the last many decades, that they say they have been preparing for this invasion, that they knew that the U.S. was going to come after them. They recovered extremely quickly. Their construction crews, every time they get struck, are out there just pounding everything back into shape, like very, very quickly. I'm shocked at what I've seen. You may not hear that if you're only listening to Western news, but if you listen to all sides, you're going to find out the marvel of their recovery and how well they are able to get right back into position to continue pounding and defending. They have been inviting the U.S. troops into their country, saying, please, yes, escalate to armed conflict. So far, the United States have been smart enough not to do so. But apparently, if they do walk into American or Iranian territory, they're going to be sitting ducks. So we'll see how that unfolds. Secondarily, when this situation started, Iran openly said they're using all of their primitive, old, obsolete equipment to fight back. So they were sacrificing a whole lot of old drones, which were divulging exactly where their protection sites were, and then they were going in with better drones and whacking out their defensive weaponry, like the THAAD system and others of the like. Okay. Sorry, I'm watching the traffic as well, so I'm probably not concentrating as well as I should on the video content, but I am doing my best, folks. I am doing my best. Okay, so back to this war effort. Iran says, stop hitting our civilian infrastructure, because if you do, we're going to shut down your ally countries close by knocking out their civilian infrastructure and causing them to have to flee their countries. They have, in my opinion, avoided that to no end until the other day when the United States hit desalination plants in Iran and they hit bridges, which are mostly civilian-used bridges, etc. Anyways, once they did that, Iran struck back and hit desalination plants in one area of the Gulf and smashed ports and hit so many targets, barracks, the different military installations that the United States have set on these other lands in these other countries. So anyways, what happened from there was a huge retaliation, and it came very swiftly. Even some of the United States spokespeople were surprised at how quickly the retaliation came and how devastatingly accurate they have been over this entire period. United States, they sunk over 100 and some odd naval vessels that came from Iran, but Iran has always said that's not their naval fleet. That's just their surface vessels. They have all these underground submarines. They have all these adjustable mines. They have speedboats, like really fast, stable speedboats that are equipped with missiles and machine guns and other things. I mean, that's their real navy. Their swarms, these speedboat swarms, will take out pretty well anything except for a submarine. But they have their own mini subs that are all around the area that come out of the granite rock underground and then pursue their targets. I don't know if it could be said that the United States really accomplished anything with the Iranian military. If you were aware of what was going on before, Iran had all these decoys set up all over their country. They were airplane decoys, they were missile launch decoys, they were everywhere. Some of them were balloons. They were balloons, and what they put beside them to make it look like they were active military planes and helicopters is they put small little space heaters, which would give a heat signature up above that would force any enemy to go after these decoys, waste their ammunition, and blow up balloons. Some of them were painted on decoys, painted on runways, helicopters, planes, and they were struck. So millions of dollars of ammunition were wasted on probably $20 balloons with $30 space heaters planted right beside them. Folks, I hope I'm painting the proper picture for you as to what is being said by either side, what's being shown by either side. The United States has amazing accuracy in targeting all kinds of locations, but they seem to keep targeting children's facilities and killing young people. They're targeting installations that are not installations. They're like food distribution centers. Now, it may be on purpose, but those are war crimes. They are war crimes. And if you're supporting that kind of action, you're supporting war crimes. Every time the United States stops bombing Iran, Iran stops bombing them and their neighbors. However, if you bomb something of significance in Iran, and Iran promises to retaliate for that, it doesn't come on the same day sometimes. It comes later. So you also have to factor that in when they go, oh, look, they hit this unnecessarily. Not true. They bombed those ships unnecessarily. When they said don't go through, they said don't go through. If you go through, you're risking getting bombed. The insurance companies are telling these people out there, we're not insuring you if you try this. We're not insuring you if you go through here. Anyway, folks, I'm going to give you that for now. You look at that, digest it, and see what you think. Come up with your own opinion as to what's going on and how we should take a closer look at all of this. Okay? Anyways, you take care, and remember, we 1585ers, we never give up, we never give in, but we do have and keep an open mind, because that's the only way we gather our knowledge. Knowledge is the only power we're ever going to have on this earth. Okay? So folks, stay safe. Stay healthy and stay as happy as